In the middle of a packed Atlanta studio, the air thick with tension and cameras rolling live, Rasheeda's hand cracked across Yandy's face like a thunderclap. The slap wasn't just loud, it was vicious, deliberate, and delivered with every ounce of pent-up fury that had been simmering for years. Yandy stumbled back, her designer heels catching on the glossy floor, eyes wide in pure shock as her cheek bloomed red under the harsh lights. Gasps ripped through the room. Kirk froze mid-sentence. Mendices jumped up so fast, his chair flew backward, and the rest of the cast sat there, mouths hanging open, like they'd just witnessed a car crash in slow motion. This wasn't some scripted shade or petty side. This was Rasheeda, Queen of the South, business mogul, wife, and mother, completely losing it on national television. One minute the women were throwing verbal jabs about loyalty, money, and old grudges from the strip club days. The next, Rasheeda was on her feet, pointing a perfectly manicured finger straight at Yandy's chest, screaming, "You think you can play me like that in my own city? After everything I've done for you?" Her voice cracked with raw emotion, tears already threatening to spill. Yandy touched her stinging face, lips trembling, and fired back. "You just put your hands on me. On national TV. Bitch, you're done." But the damage was already done. Phones in the audience lit up. Social media exploded before the commercial break even hit. Fans watching from living rooms across the country screamed at their screens, some cheering Rasheeda on, others calling for her to be kicked off the show forever. What pushed Rasheeda, the most level-headed woman in the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise, to physically slap Yandy, right there in episode 1 of season 13? What secret had Yandy been hiding that finally made Rasheeda snap? And how is this one violent moment about to tear apart every friendship, every marriage, and every empire these women built? You're about to find out. And trust me, it's uglier than anything you've seen before. The studio lights seemed to burn hotter after that slap. Security rushed in, but it was already too late. The moment Rasheeda's palm connected with Yandy's face, Season 13 of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta officially became the most explosive season in the franchise's history. Cameras zoomed in tight on Yandy's swelling cheek while Rasheeda stood there breathing heavy, chest rising and falling like she'd just run a marathon. Her eyes were wild, filled with a mixture of regret and pure satisfaction. "You finally got what you deserved," Rasheeda hissed, voice shaking but strong. "All these years smiling in my face while stabbing me in the back. I'm done playing nice." Yandy, still holding her face, laughed bitterly through the pain. "Nice? You call this nice? You just showed the whole world what kind of woman you really are, Rasheeda. A fake? A fraud. And now everybody sees it." She turned to the cameras, tears streaming down her face. "Did y'all see that? She put her hands on me." On me? Kirk Frost, who had been sitting quietly beside Rasheeda, looked completely stunned. He stood up slowly, trying to pull his wife away, but Rasheeda shrugged him off hard. "Don't touch me right now, Kirk. Not after what she did." Kirk's face twisted in confusion. "Baby, what the hell is going on? You didn't tell me nothing about this." That's when the first major twist dropped. Yandy, still wiping tears, pointed directly at Rasheeda and screamed, "Tell them, Rasheeda. Tell them how you've been sleeping with my husband behind my back for the last 6 months." The entire room went dead silent. Mendices, who had jumped up earlier, froze like someone had poured ice water over him. His mouth opened, but no words came out. The other cast members, Safia, Bambi, Erica, and even newcomer Tokyo Vanity gasped, so loud it echoed off the walls. Fans watching live on the YouTube premiere chat were spamming "what?" and "no way" so fast the comments blurred. Rasheeda's eyes narrowed dangerously. "You lying bitch? I would never touch Mendices. Never." But her voice wavered just enough for everyone to notice. Kirk's head snapped toward his wife. "Rasheeda, is that true? You been messing with him?" Before Rasheeda could answer, Mendices finally found his voice. He stepped between the two women, hands up. Hold up, hold up. Yandy, what kind of crazy shit are you talking right now? I ain't touched Rasheeda. We barely even speak." Yandy laughed through her tears, a cruel, broken sound. "Oh, really? Then explain these." She pulled out her phone with shaky hands and shoved it toward the camera crew. The producers, smelling blood in the water, quickly zoomed in. On the screen were text messages, hundreds of them between a number saved as R and Mendices. The messages were explicit, intimate, detailed. One read, "Can't stop thinking about last night in the studio. Kirk could never do what you do to me." Another, "Meet me at the W tonight. Rasheeda, out of town with the kids." The studio erupted. Rasheeda lunged forward again, but this time security grabbed her arms. "Those are fake." She doctored those messages. "Yandy, you're sick? You've always been jealous of my marriage, my businesses, my life, but the damage was catastrophic. Kirk's face went from confusion to pure rage in seconds. He looked at Rasheeda like he was seeing a stranger. 6 months. While I was out here trying to rebuild our family, while I was taking care of our kids and supporting your new clothing line, his voice cracked, I defended you every time people called you fake. Every single time. Rasheeda tried to reach for him. Kirk, baby, listen to me. She's lying. This is what she does. She destroys people. Yandy wasn't done. She stepped closer, cheeks still bright red from the slap, and delivered the second devastating blow. And that's not even the worst part. Rasheeda, you're pregnant? And it's not Kirk's baby. The words hung in the air like smoke. Rasheeda's face drained of all color. She clutched her stomach instinctively. The entire cast lost it. Bambi screamed, "Oh my God!" Erica covered her mouth. Even the usually calm Safia looked ready to faint. Kirk staggered backward. Pregnant? We haven't been together like that in almost a year. Rasheeda, you told me you were going through menopause early. You lied to my face. Tears finally spilled down Rasheeda's cheeks. It's not what you think. I was going to tell you. I was scared. Mendices and I. It was only one time. One stupid, drunk night after the reunion last season. I regretted it immediately. But Yandy found out, and she's been blackmailing me ever since. Mendices looked like he might actually throw up. One time. Rasheeda, we never wait. That night at the after party, when everybody was drinking. You said you blacked out too. Yandy crossed her arms. Victorious for the first time since the slap. Exactly. And while you two were sneaking around, I was the one holding everything together. I was the one making sure our kids didn't find out their father was sleeping with his friend's wife. But you know what? I'm done protecting y'all. The truth is out now. The producers cut to commercial, but the drama didn't stop when the cameras went dark. Backstage, all hell broke loose. Kirk stormed out of the building, refusing to speak to anyone. Rasheeda collapsed onto a couch in her dressing room, sobbing uncontrollably while her assistant tried to calm her down. My marriage is over. My brand is ruined. Everything I built, gone in one night. Meanwhile, Yandy sat in her own room getting her makeup fixed, a cold compress on her cheek. She looked straight into the confessional camera and said with steel in her voice, "She slapped me because she knows I have the power to destroy her. But guess what? I already did. And I'm just getting started." Word of the slap and the pregnancy bombshell spread like wildfire across Atlanta. By the next morning, #RASHEEDA slapped Yandy was trending #1 worldwide. Fans were divided right down the middle. Some were Team Rasheeda, saying Yandy had been shady for years and deserved to be put in her place. Others were furious, calling Rasheeda a homewrecker and demanding she be removed from the show permanently. Rasheeda's own family was torn apart. Her sister showed up at her house later that night, yelling in the driveway, "How could you do this to Kirk? After everything he's been through with the cheating rumors before, you're supposed to be the stable one in this family." Rasheeda's mother, who had always been her biggest supporter, refused to answer her calls. "I raised you better than this," she texted. "You embarrassed all of us." On the other side, Yandy's camp was celebrating. Her best friend Erica called her immediately after filming. "Girl, you ate that up. The way she slapped you, and then you dropped the pregnancy bomb. Iconic." But real talk, are those messages real? Yandy laughed softly. "Let's just say I have friends in high places who know how to make things look very convincing." But the biggest twist was yet to come. 2 days after the slap episode aired, a new video leaked online. In it, Rasheeda was seen at a private doctor's office in Buckhead. The footage, clearly taken by a hidden camera, showed her sitting in the examination room crying while the doctor confirmed the pregnancy. But here's where it gets insane. The doctor also revealed that the baby could belong to either Mendices or Kirk. Because apparently, Rasheeda and Kirk had a secret rendezvous the very same week as the alleged hookup with Mendices. DNA testing would be needed. The internet broke. Again, Kirk, who had been staying at a friend's house, saw the leaked video and drove straight to Rasheeda's mansion at 3 a.m. Cameras caught the confrontation on the front lawn. "Is it mine or his? Rasheeda, look me in my eyes and tell me the truth for once." Rasheeda stood there in her silk robe, barefoot on the cold grass, tears streaming. "I don't know, Kirk, I swear I don't know. I was confused, hurt. You were always gone with the music and the streets. Mendices was there, but my heart has always been with you." Kirk laughed bitterly. Your heart got us in this mess. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. And if that baby ain't mine, I want nothing to do with it." The family was left divided. Rasheeda's children were caught in the middle, crying to their aunts that they didn't want their parents to split. Mendices, meanwhile, was fighting his own battles. Yandy had moved out of their shared home with the kids and was staying at a luxury hotel, telling anyone who would listen that she was done being the side chick's victim. But Yandy wasn't as innocent as she claimed. In a secret meeting with producers that was later leaked, Yandy admitted she had been having her own affair with a major Atlanta rapper, someone much bigger than Mendici. She had been using the drama with Rasheeda as a distraction, so no one would dig into her own dirt. Let them focus on her pregnancy, she told the producer. By the time they find out about me and Redacted, the season will be over and I'll have my spin-off. The betrayals kept stacking. At the first group dinner after the slap, tensions reached boiling point again. The entire cast gathered at a lavish Atlanta restaurant. Rasheeda arrived late, wearing oversized sunglasses to hide her puffy eyes. The moment she sat down, Yandy smirked across the table. Looking a little green over there, mama. Morning sickness hitting hard. Rasheeda slammed her hand on the table. You know what, Yandy? I regret slapping you. Not because you didn't deserve it, but because I gave you exactly what you wanted to. You've been chasing clout off my name since day one. But guess what? This baby is coming whether you like it or not. And if it's Kirk's, we're going to raise it together and leave you in the dust. Mendices tried to play peacemaker. Ladies, please, we all made mistakes. Let's just co-parent and move on. But Bambi wasn't having it. She stood up and pointed at both Rasheeda and Yandy. Y'all are both disgusting. Playing with men's lives. Playing with children's lives. I'm tired of this fake sisterhood. From now on, it's every woman for herself. That dinner ended with plates flying, drinks spilled, and security once again dragging people apart. Erica whispered to the camera in her confessional, "This season ain't about hip-hop no more. It's about survival. And right now, nobody is safe." As the weeks went on, the drama deepened. Rasheeda launched an emergency press conference where she tearfully apologized to her fans, to Kirk, and even to Yandy. I should never have put my hands on her. That's not who I am. But the pain she caused me, the lies, it broke something inside me. She announced she was stepping back from her businesses temporarily to focus on her pregnancy and her mental health. Yandy, never one to be outdone, dropped a diss track titled Slap Back that subtly shaded Rasheeda's entire career. The song went viral, racking up millions of views in 48 hours. In the lyrics she rapped, "You put your hands on me, thought you was tough. Now the whole world know, you ain't nothing but fluff." Kirk surprised everyone by not filing for divorce immediately. Instead, he showed up at Rasheeda's prenatal appointment unannounced. The cameras captured the tender moment where he placed his hand on her belly for the first time. "If this baby is mine, I'm here, but if it's his, I walk away. No hate, just done." Mendices, caught in the middle, started spiraling. He was seen partying heavily in the clubs, getting into fights, and even missing visits with his own children. In a raw confessional he admitted, "I never meant for any of this to happen. Rasheeda was vulnerable. I was vulnerable. Yandy and I have been having problems for years, but now I might be a father again, to my friend's wife's baby. How do I even process that?" The ultimate twist came during the mid-season trailer drop. In a never-before-seen clip, Yandy was caught on camera confessing to her lawyer that the text messages were indeed fabricated using AI and old photos. She had paid a hacker to create them. But she also revealed something even darker. She had known about Rasheeda's pregnancy for months, and had been the one who tipped off the paparazzi to follow her to the doctor's office. When Rasheeda found out about the fake messages, she lost it all over again. She called Yandy at 2 a.m. The conversation was recorded and leaked. "You ruined my life over nothing. Over jealousy. I hope you burn in hell, Yandy." Yandy's response was ice cold. "You slapped me first, remember? We're even now." By the end of the first half of the season, the once close circle of Atlanta's hip-hop elite was shattered. Friendships were destroyed, marriages were hanging by threads, children were confused and hurt, and a new life was about to enter the world into the middle of complete chaos. Fans were hooked. The ratings for episode 1 shattered previous records. Social media was flooded with theories. Was the baby Kirk's or Mendices? Would Rasheeda and Yandy ever reconcile? Would Kirk take Rasheeda back? And most importantly, who would be left standing when the reunion finally happened? The drama was far from over. In fact, it was only just beginning, because in the world of love and hip-hop Atlanta, Rasheeda never expected the night to spiral the way it did. Not in front of cameras, not with everyone watching, and certainly not with someone like Yandy standing across from her with that calm, almost calculated expression that always seemed to carry more meaning than her words. The tension had been building long before the event even started. Whispers floating between cast members. Side conversations turning into quiet alliances. and old wounds reopening without warning. From the moment Rasheeda walked into the venue, there was a shift in the air, something uneasy. Like everyone already knew what was coming, but no one wanted to say it out loud. Yandy stood near the center of the room, composed as ever, greeting people with a controlled smile. But her eyes kept drifting toward Rasheeda, as if she was waiting for the inevitable. It did not take long before their paths crossed, and when they did, the energy between them was impossible to ignore. Rasheeda tried to keep things civil at first, her voice measured, her words carefully chosen. But there was an edge beneath her tone that gave everything away. She was not here to play nice. Not tonight, Yandy responded in her usual way, calm but firm, refusing to back down, refusing to let Rasheeda control the narrative. What started as a conversation quickly turned into something sharper, their voices rising just enough to draw attention from everyone around them. People began to gather, some pretending not to watch, others openly waiting for the moment things would go too far. Rasheeda brought up old issues, things she had clearly been holding onto for a long time, accusations that cut deeper than she may have intended. And Yandy, instead of diffusing the situation, met her head-on, challenging every claim, questioning every motive. It was no longer just a disagreement, it was a confrontation, raw and unfiltered. Years of tension compressed into a few intense minutes. Rasheeda's frustration grew with every response, her patience slipping, her emotions taking over in a way she could not control. Yandy's composure, which might have worked in another situation, only made things worse here, making Rasheeda feel dismissed, unheard, pushed into a corner. The room felt smaller, tighter, as if the walls themselves were closing in around them. Someone tried to step in, to calm things down, but it was too late. Rasheeda's voice cracked as she spoke, a mix of anger and something deeper, something more personal, and before anyone could react, before even she could fully process what she was doing, her hand moved. The sound of the slap cut through the noise of the room, sharp and unmistakable, freezing everyone in place. For a second, there was silence, the kind that feels heavy, almost unreal, as if time itself had paused, just to let that moment sink in. Yandy stood still, her head slightly turned from the impact, her expression unreadable, but her eyes told a different story. There was shock there, yes, but also something else. Something colder, more controlled, like she was already deciding what came next. Rasheeda took a step back, her breathing uneven, the reality of what she had just done starting to settle in, but there was no turning back now. The room erupted almost instantly, voices overlapping, some people rushing toward them, others pulling out their phones, capturing every second of the chaos. Yandy did not react the way many expected. She did not lunge forward or raise her voice. Instead, she straightened herself, slowly turning back to face Rasheeda, her calm returning in a way that felt almost unsettling. She spoke, her voice low but clear, cutting through the noise around them, making it clear that this was far from over. Rasheeda tried to justify herself, her words coming faster now, defensive, emotional, but they seemed to lose weight against Yandy's composed response. Security stepped in, creating distance between them, but the damage had already been done.